Dori, welcome to my channel. I'm a teacher of English and today's video, it is another request video, but I'm sure that it will prove helpful for most of you. It is about the passive voice, which is also very helpful if you intend to write a formal essay, okay? So first of all, in order to fully understand the passive voice, you need to know very well the English tenses. So if you don't know the English tenses very well, it will be very difficult for you to follow. You will get confused. So assuming that you already know the English tenses very well, let's get started. Okay, let's take an active sentence first. So we have tigers eat zebras, which is also a general truth, a fact. That's why we use simple present over here. They eat. Tigers eat. Okay? So in this active sentence, we have our subject, which means who does the action, who performs the action, who does something. Okay? So in this case, our subject is, of course, the tigers. Okay? Tigers do something. What do? They eat. So our verb is eat. Tigers eat. What do they eat? They eat zebras. So in this case, our object is zebras. Okay, this is an active sentence and we want to transform it into a passive one. And of course now you may ask me, why do we do something like that? Well, apart from the fact that of course all languages have a passive voice, there are many reasons, but mostly, sometimes the most important part is what happened to the object. This is what we care about. So we take the object and we talk about what happened to the object. And we don't care about who did the action or anything like that, okay? Just keep this in mind and we'll explain this a little bit later. So in this case, if we only care about the object, what happened to the object, in order to transform this active sentence into a passive, we take the object here and we make it a subject for our passive sentence. So we have the new subject of our passive sentence is zebras. Okay? Keep in mind that both sentences, both the active and the passive sentence, must have the same meaning. You cannot change meanings, you cannot change tenses. You must use the same. So, in this case, in order to have the same meaning in the passive, we have to transform our main verb here into passive voice. So, how do we do that? Okay, the form of passive voice is very simple. We use the verb to be according to the tense and the type we have, okay, and the past participle of our main verb. Now, in this case, what do? We use the verb to be in what tense? In simple present, because this is simple present here. So, how is the verb to be in simple present? It is I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. Okay, so in this case, zebras are, they are, okay? So here we go, zebras are. And now we add the main verb in the past participle of the main verb. So we have zebras are eaten. Here we go, our new passive verb, zebras are eaten. By whom, if we want to add this information, who performed the action, we use preposition by tigers. Okay? Now, it wasn't that difficult, was it? Note something very important here, that only the verbs take an object can have a passive voice, okay? Not all verbs have passive voice. For example, verbs that do not take an object, such as arrive, return, die, these verbs and verbs like that do not have a passive voice, so we just use them in the active voice. I'm sure you can understand that. For example, you cannot say I am returned, I am arrived, I am died. We cannot do these things, okay? Only active voice for verbs that do not take an object. Okay, now for you to understand the passive voice a little bit better, I will give you examples for every tense and for every case, okay? We have already seen simple present, so let's go and see the rest. Okay, here we go. Here we have simple past. This is an active sentence and we read it. Someone, we don't know who, someone stole my car. This is simple past. So our passive voice sentence is going to be my car. We take the object over here and we make it the subject of the passive sentence. My car, the verb to be in simple past, so was, my car was, and the third participle, stolen. In this case, we can omit this information over here by someone because this is not really important. The important, and of course we don't know who. The important information is that my car was stolen. Okay? Now, let's move on to simple future. We read the active sentence, the doctors will cure Mary's dad. The important thing here is that Mary's dad is going to be all right. Obviously, doctors are going to cure him. So we take the object, Mary's dad, and we make it a subject, Mary's dad. The verb to be in simple future is going to be will be. Will be what? The third participle of the main verb. Will be cured by doctors. We can omit that because it is obvious, okay? So, Mary's dad will be cured. Present perfect. George has painted the fence. We take the object again. Gradually, we're getting the hang of this, I hope. So, the fence becomes the object. The verb to be in present perfect, it is has been, okay? So, the fence has been the third participle of the verb painted. It is painted. So, the fence has been painted by George. Here we can write by George because maybe we need this kind of information. If the sentence, if the object was in the plural, the fences, then the sentence would be the fences have been painted by George. Okay, we are very careful of these things. Here it is singular, but if it was plural, this would have changed to have been painted by George. Past perfect. The thief had already robbed the house when the police arrived. So we have the house. Again, we make it the subject. What happened? Had the already been, the verb to be in past perfect, had been. What? The third participle of the main verb, robbed in this case, by the thief. It is obvious. We don't need this kind of information. We can omit that. When the police arrived. So the house had already been robbed when the police arrived. Okay, future perfect. Don't worry, I will have taken the exam by next month. Let's make it passive. Don't worry, the exam, which is the object, becomes the subject. The verb to be in future perfect will have been, and the third participle taken by next month. Present continuous. The cat is cleaning itself right now. So, in this case, this is an active sentence with present continuous. Here, the subject and the object, it is the same thing. So, we can omit it altogether and go straight to the object, making it the subject. The cat, okay? The verb to be in present continuous is being, and the third participle, the cat is being cleaned right now. Past continuous, Mom was washing the baby's hair. The baby's hair was, the verb to be in the past continuous was being, what? Washed, the third participle, by Mom. Okay? Of course, we can use the passive voice with modals too. Let's do, for example, can, must, should, ought, etc., etc. Let's see some examples. You must clean your teeth. We take the object again. Your teeth must, the verb to be in its clear form as an infinitive. Your teeth must be, and what? The third participle must be cleaned. Again, you shouldn't have broken the plate. Here we have present perfect. So the plate as a subject shouldn't have been broken, the third participle here. Okay? So those of you who are going to write formal essays either in IELTS exams or in any kind of exams for that matter, you should know that passive voice is always preferred in these kind of formal writings. For example, verbs such as believe, know, say, consider, report. These verbs can form an impersonal construction in passive voice, which is great for a formal essay. So let's see some examples of how you can use them. For example, it is believed, here we have an impersonal construction with it in simple present because we're going to talk about facts and general truths, okay? Something that the whole world knows. We don't care who knows it. We don't state that. We don't say by the whole world because it is it is obvious. So let's read the examples. It is believed that financial achievement is a sign of success. It is widely known that knowledge is power. It is said that environmental problems increase. It is considered a fact that money doesn't bring happiness. And it is reported that the annual income of major companies has decreased due to global financial crisis. These are just examples. You can use them any way you like, and it will improve the appearance of your formal essay. Okay, I know that passive voice is not easy, and also you need a lot of practice with a lot of exercises in order to fully master it, but I hope that this helps you a little bit in order to understand it a little bit better. I strongly encourage you to go and do some exercises, some online exercises. There are millions of them online, and do some practice that way in order for you to see if you have fully understood it. And then come back here and ask me your questions here or in Facebook, Twitter and Google+. I've added all the links down below. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.